any growth, any restrictions on potential growth for the village with this system?
That's a political choice that you would have to make, because in your agreement with them, you would be right to include a maximum amount of water. They're asking for 6.7. You could provide them with 8 million gallons per year and not affect your system at all. So I would think that it would be logical that you'd want to put a cap on it.
Do we have a cap on the number of homes can be connected in the agreement with the village?
For the sewer and water, or for the sewer we do, for the wastewater treatment plant we do. I don't remember exactly what it is.
It's up in the 160 range, isn't it?
Is it that high?
106, I think.
And they asked for another 20, I believe, on the upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're at what now, 104?
Reportedly.
I think that's what I recall.
Reportedly. That's a good way to put
I
it.
do think it'd be easier to quantify it by gallons, just put a cap on the gallons,
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
than amount of homes. You know,
You know, the issue for that is basically, it's a political thing as to what your neighbor's doing. You don't want them building a big manufacturing plant that could locate in the city. But, you know, I think you hit it, that you go with gallons, you don't go with number of connections.
John, why did they raise the amount of water we were talking about? Historically, they haven't used over, what, 5.7?
I
When
don't
did they
know.
go from, well, it was 6 million to 6,
They went from 5.7 to 6.57,
Okay.
right? And they had a report that, and once again, they didn't share with me, that came to that conclusion.
So, are we looking for a motion or what?
we need a staff recommendation with the, we need a staff recommendation with the offer.
I think you've heard it.
I think
Okay.
we should, as Mark said, limit to a gallonage per year, and then say 90%. As John said, that would be the lowest that is reasonable.
Well, we started at 100.
Well, I think you do. I think you have to until you find out what they're gonna ask of you in return. We don't know all of them. We haven't seen, one of the things we should see is what is the cost of a new plant? I mean, we're making decisions because they tell us that it's gonna cost too much. Well, what is too much?
Yeah.
We have no idea. And it seems like we share all of our information and get nothing in return.
our water's good. They need our water,
Yeah.
not vice versa.
And we,
Well, I asked them about their water treatment plant cost, and all I could hear was substantially less than we paid.
yeah,
That's all I heard.
Okay,
Do you want a little bit of editorializing on that?
Absolutely.
You could build a water treatment plant much cheaper than the one we built there, but you'd end up spending on the order of 6 to 10 times as much on chemicals every year. So your real value cost is not going to be less. It's going to be per unit higher.
and is that the magic plant they were looking at?
Well, that would be using like the big water softener is what you'd be using. But, you know, you'd be running several bags of salt through that every week, and that would catch up really quick.
And you better put a swimming rule on the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah.
Kill the plant.
Exactly.
So 90% would be 36.9, 90% of 41.5.
Yes.
I thought we started at 100.
Yeah, and then negotiate. If you,
John, how would you propose to return the answer to them? I mean,
I would think that you'd want to have a resolution that says to the effect of the city of Rushford proposes to sell water to the village according to their needs in an amount not to exceed 7 or 8 million gallons per year, and the cost to be calculated at 100% of the real value cost as presented in the engineer's memo dated whenever it was last Friday.
Updated every year.
Yes, and that negotiations on a final agreement would use this as the basis for determining the terms and conditions.
Should we put a note following that, based on the comment I just heard about the selenium ruining our wastewater treatment plant, if they decide to go with the cheap plant?
Saline,
Or,
yeah,
yeah,
sodium chloride, salt. Depends.
kind of as a preemptive shot across the bow.
Yeah, the city's concerned about the amount of,
Well, if they go with that, then we're gonna be dealing with a problem with our sewage treatment plant.
What would be the effect on the wastewater treatment?
it probably wouldn't affect the wastewater treatment plant. What it would do would affect the salinity of the water being discharged, and where you're dealing with a drought stream, you could get the PCA jumping all over you for that. But, you know, it's a good opportunity to argue is what it is, because, you know, you're gonna get them saying, well, look at all the salt that gets dumped on the county road every year, and on and on and on.
But we don't want the PCA down here on us.
I wouldn't think so.
Keep in mind, any type of plant they put in is gonna have a discharge, and they've already got a set amount of 26,000 gallons a day limit.
Right.
And if they're running at 14 and you get a discharge of, say, 19,000 gallons during that discharge, do they exceed every time they do that?
Say that again?
If you have a discharge to backwash your treatment plant of 19,000 gallons, that's what we have, and you go add that to the 14,000 gallons on that day of backwash, do they exceed the limit of 26,000 gallons for that day and you fine them? That's the rule.
I don't have an answer for that.
I don't know why.
So
Council's pleasure, how do we craft a motion here?
go with what John suggested as the wording?
I think you direct staff to prepare a resolution, including the terms of, and maybe, you know, maybe even the gallonage to start lower, because they may ask for more. And so we have to have some room to be able to give. If we start at 8, we'll be at our max, so, start at the 7 and,
So we can handle their 6.5, but that's
Absolutely.
starting to approach our threshold, or
we can probably handle up to 8
for them?
for them, but
Okay, but then we have, but there's room for growth.
if we
in
start at
Rushford.
8, they'll ask for 9.
Well,
So
give them an inch stick
start
yard.
at something we can afford to have a little room to at least fiddle around with if we feel it's important.
Just like starting with 100%.
And 100%
You can always
of
play
the,
it.
is outlined in the report and adjusted annually. Is it possible that the adjustment annually might reveal some startling changes in terms of what the real value is?